So, wanted to do this for a while. Talk a little bit about boredom and how it's important. This is a little unscripted, so I'll be pausing when I really don't know what to say immediately. But, boredom. It's important. We don't have it anymore. Not really. Most of the time we fill it with something like YouTube Shorts or doom scrolling Twitter. And there's a thing that's lost when we don't have boredom anymore. And so I want to I realize that, I'm treating my boredom right now. Well, not treating it so much as living in it. And I do this fairly frequently. Probably not as often as I should. I let them build up, but everybody I know, at least, has a supply of grocery bags in their house. And usually they're wadded up in a bag, tossed under the sink or the bathroom. I fold them. And I fold them because, one, it's the most efficient way to store a large amount of them. And two, it's a good way to engage with your boredom. Boredom is important because it gives us an opportunity to reflect, to think, to engage with the world around us and live in ourselves. It can be very uncomfortable, especially if you have a rough time of it at the time that you become bored. I think that's why a lot of people decide to treat it. And it used to be, you'd read a book or you'd put a record on and you'd sit and relax and you'd just think about whatever isn't on your mind. But, back when you couldn't really do that, you had leisure time, there wasn't anything going on, you've kind of always been able to read a book. But, you haven't really been able to, in recent times at least, do what they used to do, which is just fucking be bored. And I feel like a lot of people have trouble getting themselves, a lot of young people especially, have trouble getting themselves to do things that they aren't really used to doing. Maybe you're responsible for yourself for the first time, and you always kind of took for granted that your mom takes out the trash, and so you have trouble taking out the trash. And, a lot of people grew up and they didn't really have to do chores these days. Kids aren't really saddled with a whole lot of responsibility. And I was one of those kids, and I lived in squalor for most of my adult life because it just never clicked to me that second law of thermodynamics applies to trash. And I don't know. Over the last decade, I've come up with these different ways that I try to engage with my boredom. Because I've eliminated things in my life like Instagram and, mindlessly watching TV shows, and I don't watch a whole lot of anime anymore. I don't watch a whole lot of what is this one? Sorry, I've got a pile of a bunch of these, and they're going to different spots in the house where I need them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a matter of learning how to be content. Not filling your life with distractions. You know, I've got a day off for the first time. I've got a Saturday off. The entire spring. And I'm spending it cleaning my house. Because, one, it's therapeutic. Two, it's nice to have a clean house. And three, I've been so busy lately that I haven't had time to be bored. Even when I get home and I'm exhausted because I've just worked 14 hours, I sit there and, you know, I'm doom scrolling, but it's not because I'm bored. It's because I'm scrolling through YouTube Shorts because I'm trying to de-escalate my mind because it's racing. Because I've got so much shit on my mind. And I don't know. It's just, it seems nice. It's very pleasant, actually. It doesn't seem nice. It is very genuinely pleasant to do, well, nothing. To be bored. Right now, I'd rather be out getting drinks or lunch or something, or, you know, getting ready to go out later this evening once the sun's gone down and it's not as hot. And I'm folding Walmart sacks. I'm folding grocery bags. ID. Thank you very much. You know, have a nice day, please come again type shit. It's just getting folded up in my fucking kitchen. And I'm content. I figured, you know, I've been wanting to put this type of stuff on YouTube for a while. Just capture this moment of me doing something mindlessly mundane. I'm normally listening to music while I do this, but not music that you really think about. I don't listen to stuff with lyrics, but I'll talk about that another time. Normally I'm listening to music, or I've got some kind of weird podcast or something going on in the background that I'm not actually paying attention to. It's just filling the atmosphere in the house with noise. But, yeah, I decided I didn't want to, and I just wanted to sit here and enjoy the simple mundanity of folding the way too many grocery bags that I've had lying around. And then let me tell you, you don't have to do this. And you don't have to sort them like I do. But like, I got a little trash can in my bedroom. I put all the generic ones, all the thank yous and the have a nice days, those go in there. I have a lot more Walmart and Hy-Vee. I don't know if that tells you where I'm from, but I have a lot more of those grocery bags. And those are the ones I use for, like, bathroom trash. I go to Cane's, get Raising Cane's. Those bags are bigger. I got a little bit of a bigger trash bag, or trash can in the hallway. So I put the Cane's bags in there. And it, you know, it is a second use. It's part of the recycling, because it's reduce, reuse, and recycle. I'll stuff these bags full, and, you know, eventually you learn the way to do it where you don't put holes in them, and you can fit a bunch of shit in a Walmart sack or whatever grocery store you go to. And when you get all that stuff in there, you come home and you got 6 of them. You know, it takes, I'm doing this really slow, but I can do this pretty quickly too. But you just, you know, you fold up those 6 bags and replenish your supply wherever it's at. It'll also help you gauge your waste output, say you use a lot of toiletries in your bathroom, and your bathroom trash fills up a lot faster than you are replenishing your bags, and then it's like, oh wow, I actually need an out of Walmart sacks because I've used up all my supply. And then you can go and rethink how you do your waste disposal, and and all this stuff that I'm talking about is stuff that I would not have thought of if I hadn't let myself be bored. And my house is more efficient for it. These take up less space. I don't have to have a big fucking mess of them underneath my sink because I've got little bags full of these little folded ones, and when they're folded, they do take up a lot less space than they do if they're crumpled. Like, let me just show you what I've got over here. This is maybe 20, 30 plus, and it takes up less space than like 12 crumpled bags. So like, it's so much more efficient. You can fit so many more bags in such a smaller space that like, once I started doing it, because I was just bored out of my mind one day. Once I started doing it, it benefited me so much, and in the time it takes to do it, you bored yourself out of your mind for 10 minutes while you dawdle about putting the groceries away, and every time you finish a bag, you fold it up and then set it on the counter, and then figure out where you want to put them, if you want to put them in your back stock bag, or if you want to put them in the bag that's like hanging off the side of the rack in the toilet room, or like in the laundry room or wherever. It's just, I wouldn't have thought of these things if it wasn't for letting myself be bored. And there's other things, too, that I've thought of, like how to keep coffee tables from getting cluttered. You solve that problem rather than just moving the clutter like I normally do. When I sit down and I let myself be bored, I come up with solutions for shit, and now I don't have problems. I mean, I have problems, but I don't have problems in my household. As long as I do my chores, it stays clean, my house is nice. And yeah, that's something that every adult is supposed to learn, but I feel like people, especially in their 20s, or in their late teens, early 20s, late teens, people between the age of 16 and 25 have this sort of arrested development. And if you feel that, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I felt it. Most of my friends felt it. You just don't know what to do, and life feels like it's falling apart around you. And it's because you are filled with boredom that's clogged up inside you, and you've just been burying it, treating it away. And this one's filthy, so it goes in the trash. I break them apart because the sea turtles are nice. If I had a recycling center nearby, big asshole. If I had a recycling center nearby, I would recycle them, but you can't recycle the dirty ones at the front of Walmart, and I'm not about to fucking wash them. It's one thing to fold them, but to wash them when I could just shred them up so that they're not really doing anything but sitting there and rotting for 10,000 years. Let's do that to all of them. No rings, no tabs that are, gonna get caught around something's neck. And you just do that. But like, even look, this has been shredded. And when I ball it up in my fist, it expands out. It's about the same area, except this can be pressed flat and slotted in like a fucking index card. This will keep expanding until it's out of elastic potential, and It's just a mess. And that's after it's been shredded. I mean, I take one of these Walmart sacks. This one's good, pretty much. If I ball that up, I can still crush it in my fist. Look how much it expands. How much more space it takes up. And this will only continue as it gets jostled around in your cabinet. You know, open and close, open and close. It would just continue to expand. Those, they stay pretty much folded. Now they'll open up, you know, they'll sit there like that. But if you've got them neatly put into another bag or box, they'll sit there, you know, they'll press on each other. And they'll keep each other in line. I do the same thing with another thing I've gotten from boredom. I'll take egg cartons, because I buy eggs by the 60 because, well, I don't do it anymore, but, you know, I'll take my egg boxes and I'll put them in here. I'll take my paper towel rolls and I'll put them in here. And, you know, just fold them in half, stick them in there, and then around once a month, if I do it on time, I'll go down, and I have shared laundry. I'll go downstairs, and all of the lint that we scoop out of the trap gets thrown in this box. I'll go downstairs, and I'll spend 20, not even, maybe 15 minutes, and I'll put all the dryer lint in these paper towel holder, paper towel tubes. Put them in here, you know, just cut, fold it in half again, fold those tabs in, stuff it full, cut, you know, just in a plus shape. You get 4 tabs, fold it in, you got this square. I gotta go camping, take one of these, instant fire. It's super simple. This weighs less than, it's almost weightless. It's big and fat, but you know, you can press it down. You can compact it. It's not gonna come undone. And besides, if you soak it in, I don't have it with me, but old Scentsy oil, maybe not Scentsy oil, but you soak it in oil or wax. Soak it in wax, and you can cut it into like discs, and you can put those in an Altoid can. You know, it's not char cloth, but you don't need char cloth to start a fucking campfire if you have dryer lint, you know. Dryer lint and a Bic. If you've got a pile of sticks, that shit's gonna up, you know. And it's little things like that, you know. If I hadn't let myself be bored, I would not have thought of these things fucking scrolling through fucking TikTok or Instagram Reels or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube Shorts. I wouldn't have thought of these things because my mind would be preoccupied by this shit that I'm watching. And the shit that I'm watching might have little tips like this, like you're on fucking YouTube listening to me right now probably, but, you know, these little tips and things in this short form content, you don't fucking remember it. I don't fucking remember it. I go and watch YouTube Shorts for 6 hours in a fucking day, you know. I get home 6 o'clock, I go to bed at 10, I've done nothing but sit on the couch and watch YouTube Shorts, or fucking just, because I'm exhausted. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I just watched. I put it on to have noise while I'm cooking, or while I'm making sandwiches, or while I'm tidying up the coffee table instead of cleaning it off like I'm supposed to. Because it's mindless. Because I'm bored and it's painful being so bored with no outlet that is real, no good outlet, because video games suck and movies suck and TV shows suck and, you know, you don't want to do escapism anyways, because you want to be mindfully working on your life and improving your situation, and you want to be, you know, keeping your environment clean so that you can have a clean mind. And it's just, you know, let yourself be bored. Let your mind wander. It takes 5-10 minutes for it to start. It's instant for me. I have ADHD. But like, you sit there and you appreciate the silence and you think about the task you're doing and you let your thoughts wander to how your day went and things that have been pressing on your mind, things that are giving you anxiety. You sit there and you let them come in to your head, and you observe. Take a deep breath, let it out, and you'll just think about it. Not dwell on your thoughts. Just let your mind do its thing while you're bored. Let go. Don't try and control it. Don't try and, turn it into some kind of fucking side hustle or get rich quick scheme. Just let your mind go. Observe. Appreciate. And think about it. And it's very difficult for some people, and I will have videos that I will make eventually on how I learned to overcome intrusive thoughts and just obsessively worrying about shit and being anxious all the time. And I haven't, the issue hasn't gone away. It's part of who I am as a person, and I have to own it, and I have to understand how I can harness and use it, but I also have to understand how to live with it. Because sometimes, you can't look at like a lake and think, how do I harvest this? You don't. It's a lake. The lake itself sits there. You can take fish from it. You can get water and boil it. You can, have fun recreationally in the lake. Maybe build your house next to it so you can have a dock to put a boat and go out and fish with the boat and have fun. But, it's a lake. The lake is there. You don't get to control the lake. Anxiety is a lake. It sits there. It's part of you. Part of your natural landscape as a person. Your humanscape. It's part of who you are. And the anxiety doesn't go away, but it's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be. It's a bad thing because you've been told it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because you were convinced that there is a certain way that you have to be, and being anxious is bad because it keeps you from being that way. But no, anxiety makes me prepared. Anxiety makes me not forget things. And it is because to deal with the anxiety, because it is an unpleasant feeling, I'll go through my list of shit. I need my glasses. I need my wallet. I need my keys. I need my phone. I need my water bottle. I need my lunchbox. I sit there and I do all that. I go through that checklist every single morning because I used to be so anxious that I would forget something important that I would end up forgetting, like, the anxiety would distract me from making sure that I was prepared, that it would always, it would self-reaffirm itself. Like, it would reaffirm itself. I would be anxious about forgetting something, and the anxiety would get to me so hard that I would forget something because I'm thinking about the anxiety and not the things that I'm supposed to be getting together. And then I would go to work, and I'd be like, fuck, I forgot my glasses. I can't see shit. If I hadn't been thinking about the anxiety, I would have just, grabbed it as I walked out the door. So what I started doing, you know what? Write down everything I need every day. Put it on a list. Put it on the fridge, because I come by the fridge every single morning to get ice in my water. Boom. I look at the handle. As I'm opening it, there's the list. I get my water. I close the freezer. And as I'm shaking my water to get it cold with the ice and melt the ice a little bit so it's nice and just ice cold water, not icy water by the time I get to work. Anyways, boom, checking the list as I'm shaking the water bottle. And, yep, got my glasses there in my face, got my wallets in my pocket, got my keys there in my pocket, got my phone, it's in my pocket, got my water bottle in my hand, and my box lunch is right here, grab it, and I'm ready to go. And it's that simple. And I don't get anxious about it anymore. I don't get anxious. It's solved the anxiety, and the anxiety has led to me developing a skill because I apply this to other things as well. If I want to go camping, I make a list of everything I need. Boom, go down the list. Right as soon as I'm done packing, and then right before I leave. Every time I go on a trip, boom, here's a list of all the shit that I brought with me. Go write down the list while I'm packing, write down the list right before I leave, and then when I'm at the hotel, write down the list, make sure I didn't drop anything at the airport or something, or I didn't leave it in the car to get baked in the Arizona sun or something, wherever I'm going. And then Right before I leave the hotel, boom, write down the list again. Make sure I didn't forget anything. You can keep that on your phone. You can keep that in a little notebook. You can keep that on a little slip of paper like this, and then you fold that up and you put it in your luggage. Somewhere where you're not going to get into, somewhere like a little side pocket where you're not going to get into, but you know where it's at, and then you can check it every single time you feel that, I'm feeling anxious. Boom. And it's those little solutions, they come up when you let yourself be bored, when you let yourself have the anxiety. If you let that sit, you will come up with a solution for it. You don't need to pay somebody. You don't need to take a pill. Some people do. Some people have debilitating anxiety. They can't fucking move because their minds are paralyzed by it. It happens. Some people are schizophrenic. They get into this psychosis episode and they need medication for it. But, that said, most people don't. You are deeply uncomfortable because you're anxious all the time, but you can still do things. Don't medicate yourself. You don't need that. That's extra money, first of all, that it costs you. Secondly, you're putting shit in your system that can fuck up other shit that you might actually need. So you get a medical emergency and you need to take a dose of whatever this is, and it's like, oh, we can't give it to him because he's on fucking Xanax. So now we have to give him this other one that works less often and has worse side effects. If you didn't have to take Xanax because you're just doing it to manage anxiety because you don't know how, this is how. One little step at a time, over the course of years, you will grow as a person. Yes, it takes years. It takes years to learn skills. It takes years to really know how to drive. You ever ridden in a car with a 16-year-old with a fresh license? It's fucking terrifying. It takes years to grow. Time is short, but it's really not. And the more that you grow, the slower time goes. So, fold your laundry. Don't leave it in a pile on the foot of the bed. Fold up your grocery bags. Organize your cabinets with all of your groceries in them. Organize your fridge. Clean your fridge. Clean your fucking fridge. It's gross. Everybody's fridge is fucking gross. Clean your fridge. You need to. You've been meaning to since what? August? Clean your fridge. Do little boring tasks. Most of the time, it'll take you less than 10 minutes. And in the time that you spend doing them, you will be amazed at the type of things that will come to your mind. If you let yourself have a clear mind and just observe your thoughts rather than dwelling on them and trying to solve them, because you shouldn't solve your thoughts. They're passive activity, cosmic background radiation for your brain. Observe it. It's natural. We are bored for a reason. Let yourself be bored. I don't have anything else to say.